they must count first the ballots returned and compare it to the head count, which is 479.
Okay, so let me explain it this way.
Yes, Bishop.
You're
Thank
dealing
you.
with two pieces of the rules.
Yes.
Every teller who submitted a number to the head teller, they're only receiving the same amount of ballots based on that number that was given. The number of ballots that were given to the heads of the delegation to turn into the delegates, when they receive those ballots back from the delegates themselves, they are counting to make sure that it's the same number that they gave out. So there is a reconciliation of the ballots. So we are in order.
Thank you,
Thank
Bishop.
you. Yes. We do want to keep transparency in the process. Thank you for the question. Thank you for that question.
Okay, so let's proceed with our agenda for this afternoon. And shall we hear a report from the courtesies and privileges? We have some guests, yes. Microphone 8. Okay. Yeah.
Hello. Yes,
Yes.
yes, Bishop and
Wait.
members of this conference.
Wait, Pastor JR. Yes, what's the point of order, Ate Liz?
There's one ballot that was not taken here. One ballot that was not taken.
There's one.
So aren't the tellers supposed to count when they get the ballots, count it if they have enough from what they gave away? Because there's one that was left here.
If we can please have the House to be quiet for a moment, please. I'm trying to get some clarity from the head teller in order to address what our sister just inquired about over here. If I can get everyone to be quiet for a moment. Okay, so here's where we are. Here's where we are. If I can have quiet again, please. I hope and pray and trust that all of us are aware of how we're working very hard to make sure that our process is in good order and that we're operating in a spirit of transparency. Okay? And we have done everything in good order and in good faith. We heard the question that was asked earlier about whether or not we're reconciling those counts with the ballots to make sure that everything is in good order. And you heard my response to that. My response to you was that tellers have been given instruction that the number of ballots that they pass out, that they should count while they're right there to make sure that the number of ballots they passed out will be the same number of ballots that they received. Sometimes things happen, okay? And we're in a moment right now where we just heard that there was one ballot that did not get picked up. So there was one teller who made a mistake who did not pick up that one ballot. Now, here is what I'm going to do, and here's what I'm going to ask of the House to honor. In a spirit of Christian community, I did declare that the ballot was closed. But when I declared it closed because I was trusting that we were following that process. We don't want anyone among us who has a right to vote to not have their vote counted. So as the presiding chair, I am going to make an exception to receive that one vote because it's validated that it was missed. And the validation has just come from the head teller. So with that being said, in the spirit of transparency, I'm sharing that. But here is my ask. Tellers, when you turn your number in, and when the head teller give you the number of ballots of the number you turned in, you have a responsibility that once you give it to the head of the delegations, and when the delegations give it to the delegates, and when the delegates give it back to you, you count your ballots to make sure that it reconciles with the number you gave out before you come to this ballot box. So I need us to keep everything in good order. Amen? Amen. And I'm going to ask that this is how we're going to proceed. As the chair, that is at my discretion, that I am going to accept this ballot. And so, head teller, I'm going to ask for you, if you don't mind, if you can go to that table and get that ballot. Thank you, Bishop. I see a yellow. I'm going to invite you to the microphone again, and I hope that you can help us keep this process moving so we don't hinder the process.
Thank you very much, Bishop. That's my point, Bishop, that before we canvass, we verify first.
Okay, brother, let me say this. I got your point the first time.
Thank you, Bishop, if you understand.
I got your point the first
Yes, Bishop.
time.
Thank you.
And I made my point, and my point was that is our process. There was a mistake happened. That is the reconciling part of the process, is for the teller to do that. That is the process.
Okay.
Thank you.
Another inquiry, Bishop, last.
You already made your one inquiry. What is it that you need?
Because the ballots were already closed, and then there's another one, then you add it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just clarifying, Bishop.
Okay. That's not.
So that is clear to me.
Oh, sir, you're not asking a question. At this point now, you're challenging me.
No, Bishop.
I said to the whole body, everybody heard me say it publicly,
I'm just
that I'm making, please don't talk over me.
sorry, Bishop.
Okay. I said to the whole body that because we're trying to be in the spirit of transparency, we're in Christian community, a mistake happened.
Okay,
This
Bishop.
is not going to be a continued practice because the tellers from henceforth will make sure that this does not happen again. I'm going to ask you to take your seat, please.
Then I submit, Bishop. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, microphone number 2.
Bishop, this is Reverend Aristides Balatan, missionary from Sydney, but I'm from the Philippine Annual Conference. It is just an inquiry or clarification. I did not heard something. If ever there are invalid votes, like for example, our first vote, I think we have 4 invalids. Is that right? 6 invalid. Can we have, or the plenary, or the COMELEC have the authority, or can we, the reason why it is invalid? Because I have something in my mind that we are 2 elder in my conference. My wife, my beautiful wife, and I are ordained elders, and same balatan. Because if ever they will write a balatan only, it will be invalid, or embalatan, a balatan, it must be complete. So the thing that I want to point out is, can we know if these ballots are the reason why it is invalid? Can we open it to the plenary? Thank you, Bishop.
Okay, so here is what I'm going to ask of the head teller. If you can respond to what made those 6 ballots invalid, and what we will make a point to do is when we get reports going forward, that we will be prepared to also say, once we know how many were invalid, the reasons for why they were invalid.
Bishop and members of the conference, the 6 invalid ballots are blank. There is no written names. So that is invalid.
Thank
Wala
you.
pong pangalan na naisulat, mga kapatid. Blanco, yung 6 na yan. Ay,
Okay, thank you. So we heard the response.
Bishop, in the case, Bishop, in the case of the lady Bishop, there are 2.
I'm sorry, can the House please be quiet so we can hear the speaker?
There are 2 blank ballot, and the other one invalid is Aristides Balatan and Jonathan Balatan.
Okay. So we've heard from the Committee on Tellers the reasons for the invalid ballots.
yeah.
I'm going to turn back to the presider.
Okay. So let's proceed with the report of the courtesies and privileges.
Hello. Magandang hapon po, mahal na mga obispo at miyembro ng PCC. Nais po nating i-recognize ang mga sumusunod nating kapatid. Una po ay si Sister Editha Lopez, ang National President po ng UMWSCS. Siya po ay kanina pang umaga nandito. Ganyan rin po si Sister Nancy Caluyan Nicolas, ang Executive Director of Adonai's Mercy House. At ganoon rin po si Dr. Jonathan Gawan, ang University President ng Philippine Christian University.
Okay. May we invite our guests and visitors to please give their greetings. The President of the National UMWSCS, Ms. Kaluya, and Dr. Gawan. Can you greet the conference, please? Wala po silang dadaanan. Okay, kakaway na lang daw. Sige po, hintayin natin sila mamaya and we'll give them time to greet pagka nakababa na po sila. Okay, you're welcome to the Philippines Central Conference 22nd session. Maya na po natin sila bigyan ng chance para bumati. Okay, friends, according to our handbook, the order of the day is to hear the integrated quadrennial plan and budget. But according to Section 2, Section 1 of Article 6, there shall be a session in the afternoon of the second day for the presentation and consideration and approval of the integrated quadrennial plan. Are you ready to report? And then we'll go back to the other reporters later. Meron bang printed copy siyan? Okay. The reporter would be Reverend Jeremiah Gabriel, one of our facilitators during the integrated interagency summit. Are there copies of the report?
Do we have a printed copies? Okay, I will just do my presentation to PowerPoint.
Do you have the PowerPoint? Okay. Okay, let's listen. And meron po silang PowerPoint presentation. Okay, please proceed.
Okay, our beloved bishops, members of this central conference, both clergies and lay, I would like to present the PCC Integrated Quadrennial Plan, and I would like to request all the delegates of the Interagency Summit to please stand up so that you will be recognized as part of this presentation. Okay, pwede po bang tumayo? Lahat po nung nag-participate? Okay, salamat po. Okay, the PCC Quadrennial Plan is a byproduct of the PCC Interagency Summit planning held last July 16 to 17, 2024 with the clergy and lay representatives from the 3 episcopal areas, PCC boards, agencies, institutions, and guests participating to map and chart the future direction of the United Methodist Church in the Philippines. So this conceptual plan integrates all the participants' relevant ideas, visions, opinions, and expertise, prayerfully invoking what God has prepared for us in the next quadrennium. The framework includes the proposed vision while retaining the mission of the United Methodist Church as stated in the Book of Discipline, paragraph 120, and it features the defined areas of focus or ministry scorecards, ministry expressions, and outcomes. The conceptual plan promotes flexibility and contextualization, adapting the dictum one direction in diversified ministry expressions so that it will encourage creativity and fitness of ministry expressions at the different levels of our organizational structures. So may I present the highlights of the conceptual plan. First is the proposed vision statement. Okay, the proposed vision statement is not yet final. While it requires amenability from the proper body, it strongly suggests that the vision perspectives be affirmed and retained for the reason that the imageries in the vision were the byproducts of evaluations, consultations, discussions, and prayerful discernment by our respectable participants. The number 2, the vision perspectives presented herein are well-chosen images of what we aspire to be and what we desire to do. They can be used as a foundational reference considering their applicability and adaptability to the context of the stakeholders. And the plan harmonizes the 4 focus areas, limiting to 5 significant goals with suggested ministry expressions and target outcomes. So the proposed vision statement is this: faithful disciples of Christ, growing vital congregations, transforming lives, and transforming communities. Again, as I have said, the proposed vision statement is not yet final. But the vision elements illuminate the unfolding future of the United Methodist Church in the Philippines. The Interagency Summit representatives deeply engaged in discerning our future through a prayerful visioning process, assessments, and workshops. The proposed vision statement can be examined through the following aspirations. Number 1, our being, who we are and what are the enduring characteristics we need to embrace and emphasize as United Methodists. Number 2, our doing, the mandate of which we are called. And number 3, our becoming, the dreams and aspirations of we would like to be. So there are 4 vision perspectives that we would like to present. Number 1 is the faithful disciples of Christ. Number 2 is growing vital congregations. Number 3 is transforming lives. And number 4 is transforming communities. First, so what are the imageries of the desired future? Number 1, faithful disciples of Christ. It encapsulates our aspirational being as faithful disciples of Christ, manifesting our identity first as committed to intentional discipleship. This is a call for a future where all professing members are deeply engaged in discipleship, embracing the church's transformative ministries through active involvement in the nurture, outreach, witness, and leadership development ministries of the church. And also, one of the images is that the faithful discipleships considered faithful covenanting communities. It is a reaffirming call for our future where all professing members are faithfully committed to living the membership vows, practicing scriptural holiness, and manifesting our loyalty to Christ through the United Methodist Church. And then, letter C, as lifelong learners, a future where the leadership continuum is intentional and intrinsic, desiring to develop new people with competencies relevant to the needs of the times. Number 2 vision perspective is growing vital congregations. Congregational vitality measures the effectiveness of our approaches, methodologies, and praxis of ministries. Congregational vitality challenges the status quo, wards off personal ambitions, encourages collaborations, and unifies all stakeholders to center its energy on church growth. And among the imageries of vitalities indicated in the visioning process are the following: passionate and inviting worship, intentional mission and community engagement, intentional discipleship making or disciple making or small group ministries, faithful stewardship expression, sustainable lay and clergy leadership development, growing new congregations, foreign missions, technology-based ministries, equitable compensations. And I would like to note that part of the discussions and presented during the summit is the vision for the creation of additional Episcopal area in the Philippine Central Conference. Let's hope for it. And then number 3, for the perspective of transforming lives. Transforming lives is God's metamorphic agenda. Embedded in the church DNA is our aspiration to be a catalyst of change. The spectrum of God's transformational agenda transcends individuals, families, and communities. We aspire that in the next 4 years, all UMC stakeholders will be one in intentionally committing to the ministry of transformation by integrating transformational development ministry aspirations as follows: leading people to Christ, nurturing individuals and families, restoring identity and purpose, cultivating gifts for service, and living life in all its fullness. And the last one is transforming communities. The fourth vision perspective reflects the outward expression of the praxis of holiness. It advocates for the intentional spreading of scriptural holiness all over the Philippines, covering all the Filipino communities here and abroad. We aspire for a UMC in the Philippines that creates significant social impact by intentionally immersing, searching, and fixing unjust social structures, economic injustices, addressing environmental justice, and other forms of corruption that deprive the marginalized of their rights to a just and humane society. The vision elements are list of possible transformational ministries. The people of UMC in the Philippines are to intentionally engage depending on the issues and the needs of the community, such as advocating peace and justice, stewarding the creation or environmental justice, eliminating all forms of discriminations, gender, race, religion, etc., facilitating economic freedom or addressing poverty issues, food security, developing community resiliency and accountability, ministry with the marginalized, and eradicating life-threatening health issues, both medical and mental. So under the focus area, I will not discuss in details. We have developed 5 goals. So the first goal is developing and sustaining lay and clergy leadership, wherein part of the ministry expressions are the following: lay servant ministries, church workers continuing education, and young people leadership development. Then under congregational vitality, we have another goal, growing vital congregations, and part of the ministry expressions or the campaign or the expressions on how to implement this goal includes, among others, the following: Congregational Development Summit, identifying bright spots, developing new congregations or church planting, connecting the church to the world through technology-based ministries. So part of the plan, particularly on developing new congregations and church plantings, is the focus on foreign mission, because we have so far established provisional. We intend to establish provisional and regular districts abroad, particularly now that the Middle East is being recognized as part of the Philippine Central Conference. And then in goal number 3, we have transformative discipleship engagement, and part of the ministry expressions include care groups, reviving spiritual disciplines according to Wesleyan traditions, disciples making disciples, and in goal number 4, intentional community engagement, it includes, among others, the following: stewarding the creation, community resiliency and accountability, ministry with the marginalized, peace and justice, and then the last one is about mental and medical, eradicating mental and medical health issues. And then the last one is the faithful stewardship expression, because we have identified that this is one of the weaknesses that was presented during the planning session. So we intend to pursue the following: faithful financial giving, property stewardship, development and accountability, policy development, particularly on financial stewardship, property management policy, and also part of this policy development is the communications policy and protocol. So lastly, I would like to present some notations and instructions so that we may be able to so that we may be guided by the next process once this conceptual plan will be approved by this Philippine Central Conference. So, notation number 1, this conceptual plan is a reference tool for designing and aligning programs of the different stakeholders within the fold of the PCC-UMC, including the lay organizations and local churches. It is opined that this conceptual plan be comfortably subjected to adaptation and contextualization to address the best fits and concerns of the PCC-wide stakeholders. The contents perhaps may not intentionally specify your organizational concerns or needs. However, it is up to the stakeholders' wisdom to adjust, create, or modify the ministry expressions or the program strategies presented herein, including the ministry outcomes as long as the vision perspectives, ministry scorecards, and goals will not be substantially changed or altered. These are our core documents that encapsulate our unified direction. While we have different contexts and needs, we strongly invoke the adoption of this dictum, one direction in diversified ministry expressions. Number two, not included in this conceptual plan are those assigned to special task forces, boards, and committees. To name some of them include but not limited to the task force to study church structure, the task force to review the General Book of Discipline, boards and committees with special assignments, and those specifically assigned to study and review the passage of the proposed constitutional amendment, the ratification of regionalization in all annual conferences of the Philippine Central Conference. And number three, upon adoption and approval of this conceptual plan, at the disposal of the three bishops of the PCC, the Task Force on Interagency Summit, or the Executive Committee of the Planning Committee shall provide additional instructions and a template of a logical framework for the use of local churches, districts, annual conferences, boards, and agencies, incorporating those specific plans not included in these presentations. And lastly, budgets for the cascading of this integrated quadrennial plan are referred to the CFA and the Episcopal offices for decision and approval. This, Bishop, is our presentation for the integrated quadrennial plan.
Okay, thank you so much, Reverend Gabriel. Okay, now the report is before you. Are there any conversation, questions before we approve or adopt this quadrennial plan? Ano po bang gusto magsalita, magtanong? Yes? Mr. Baniked, is that a point of order or what? Microphone 6, please.
Good afternoon, Bishop and members of this conference. This is Jeremiah Baniked from Central Luzon, Philippines Annual Conference. The presentation made by our illustrious chairperson of the committee have defined a lot of things. But what I know is when it is a plan, it involves futuristic activities. As simple as that. That's why my first
Mr.
question...
Baniked, can you speak closer to the microphone so
Okay.
we can hear you? We cannot properly...
That's why my first question is, it says it's a quadrennial plan, but it looks like a focus to me on so many things that you wanted to do. However, the mechanics on how to do is not yet there.
Yes.
So I would say, will there be a work plan and a financial plan for this? Or this is just trying to make your focus?
Actually, this is a conceptual plan. As I have said, the next process will be the crafting of the detailed implementation plan, and that includes the budgeting.
Yes, exactly. My question would like, if I will consider this as a work plan, where is the financial plan? That is my question.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? Conversations? Yes, RM?
Bishop and members of the conference, Richard Melca, please, Northwest Philippines Annual Conference. As this is a plan and a conceptual framework at that, I have just two recommendations as a development planner. Number one, the communication of the vision should be improved. There should be a better tagline for that.
I'm sorry, we cannot hear you.
The communication, the vision for the PCC for the next 4 years should be improved. There should be a tagline for that.
Yes.
Number two, I think what's lacking here is that how are we going to delineate the roles of the different levels of our institution? We have PCC, we have ACs, we have districts, and we have local churches. While we recognize that this is a conceptual plan clearly outlines the delineation of different functional levels of an organization. So it should contain such.
Yes,
so
sir.
that's only my comments, Bishop and members of the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, as I have said, the vision is not yet final. It is subject to change or modification. Doon naman po sa doon sa portion naman na mayroong delineation. Actually, in the presentation, there are defined stakeholders who will take over, who will take responsibility. So hindi ko na lang po sinama doon sa presentation, but in the documents ay kasama po.
Okay, thank you so much. Meron pa po ba? Sige po, wala na ako nakikita. Are you ready to adopt this report? Okay. Lahat po na sumasang-ayon, pakitaas po ang kamay. Lahat ng tutol, ganun din. Okay, it's adopted. Thank you so
Okay,
much,
thank you po, Bishop.
Reverend Gabriel. All right. So, the next report is the report of the Siporo. You ready to report? Okay. Ilang beses na kayo na postponed. Okay. Judge Larida is the chairperson of Siporo.
Yes, bishops, our highly esteemed bishops and members of the conference, this committee is now ready to complete its report. Hopefully po on the amendments which are being flashed on your screen. And copies thereof were given to you yesterday for your study. And we hope we are now ready to vote on this. As bishops, with your permission, we being the proponent of these amendments, may we also be deemed the movant po, to speak in support of the amendments prior to actual voting on them.
Sure, but we can ask the body first if there are questions, or can we do this one by one para mas systematic?
Actually, dalawang provisions lang
yeah.
yan po eh. Main provisions on the BOT
Okay,
and the PCC Conference Secretary.
all right.
Pag,
So, ano
ang may suggest ko lang po, Bishop, kung yung kasi yung pong original on the right side of on the right column, that is the original provision. Yung amendments appearing on the left column. Eh mapansin niyo po, if you will notice, mahaba po, may mga additional provisions. So if I may suggest, Bishop, ang approval po ay if we amend, we amend the entire. Kasi related po yan eh. Every provision is related. Kung additions man po yan, related po, hindi pwede pong
Paghiwa-hiwalayan.
Hiwalay-hiwalayan po eh. So wholesale, if I may suggest,
Okay.
a wholesale approval by 2/3 vote pursuant to our. Ganon din po yung provisions on the PCC secretary and deputy secretaries. Yun lang naman po ang concentration doon eh. Wholesale approval din po kung pwede. By
Sige po.
two-thirds vote.
Pero para maintindihan siguro, nabasa niyo po ba itong report nila? Can you make some explanation siguro po para doon sa mga importanteng
Opo.
amendment?
Before we vote, and siguro po kung we are deliberating on this muna before we actually vote, yung para ma-limit din po, we observe siguro as the movement of these amendments, we will speak for it in support of the amendments. So with your permission, Bishop, Presiding Bishop Rubinel, ito po yung ano namin, on the BOT. On the BOT po, no? So, staggered na po. So, we're proposing a staggered terms on the first election, no? After the approval of the amendments po. Halimbawa po, the rationale being that we will assure the continuity, no? The continuity of the BOT, PCC BOT is guaranteed. Guaranteed po. In the light of, our church has many property development plans. Alam na naman po natin yan. And pag ang nangyayari, ang present setup po kasi, every conference, every regular session, we replace the entire BOT. So 15 ng 15. So na-stop all the terms, all the term of all the BOT members expire at the same time. So wala pong continuity. With the amendments, the continuity of the BOT to oversee the property development plans of our church is guaranteed. So yun po yung rationale doon sa BOT provisions. And dito pa, assured din ng equal representation of each episcopal area at representation of women, representation of professionals like lawyers. This will be all taken into account because of these amendments. That would be for the BOT provision, Bishop. That's all, Bishop.
Sige po. Sige po. Doon sa BOT pa lang po yan. Any questions? Yes.
Bishop, question before I make a motion. Is an amendment to what the BOT is presenting in order at this period?
Again?
Is an amendment, proposed amendment to what the BOT is presenting in order? To the Siporos, is it in order for me to make a recommendation or an amendment?
To make an amendment?
Yes, Bishop. To what the Siporo is presenting.
Oh, let's hear it.
Okay, so I am Richard Melca, please, a young person, a young adult from the Northwest Philippines Annual Conference, and I am recommending that we amend the proposed amendment of the Siporo in the BOT composition, Article 3. It goes like this. The current text goes like this. 1/3 of trustees shall be women, and there shall be a lawyer and a youth in the board. My recommendation as an amendment is that 1/3 of the trustees shall be women, and there shall be a lawyer, and at least 2 lay young people ages 18 to 40 years old in the board. That's my amendment, Bishop.
Okay, any second? Okay.
Thank you.
Sige.
Can I speak?
Do you want to explain yan?
Yes, thank you, Bishop. Papangunahan ko na po, but an agenda of our young people, and I hope the conference will be with us in this agenda, is to ensure that at least there are no less than 10% of our boards, of our agencies, are comprised by young people. And I hope this conference will be with us in this initiative. Bakit po natin pinaglalaban ito? Ang mga kabataan po, tulad ko, tulad namin, ay hindi kinabukasan ng simbahan. The youth of the church is not the future of the church. The youth of the church is the church of today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have to turn off. Okay. All right. We'll go back to you, RM, and the Siporo report.
Okay, friends. If I can have everyone's attention. The number of ballots that were cast, 479. The number of invalid ballots, 7. The number of valid ballots, 472. And the number of votes to elect is 319. There is no election. The number of votes to elect, okay, this is, okay, I was reading what I had. The number of votes to elect is 314. Okay, all right. I am going to read aloud those who have received more than 10 votes. Rodale Agdal, 281. Ruby Nell Estrella, 266. Israel Payenet, 208. Jonathan Yulande, 185. Aristides Balaton, 152. Minray Mandillo, 101. Roland Anagwe, okay, I'm making sure I'm on the same row. Put it back on the screen for me. I'm going to read from the screen. Okay, I'm reading from the sheet that I have. Minray Mandillo, 101. This is the report that's coming from the tellers. So whatever's being put up on the screen needs to reflect what I'm receiving from the tellers. Minray Mandillo, 101. Roland Anagwe, 71. Francis Fajardo, 50. Jonathan Razon, 28. Antonio Pacheco, 30. And the remaining persons were less than 10. Those are the results of this ballot. Okay? So what we are going to do, according to our rules, we will now prepare for our next ballot. Before we do that, I did ask for the head teller to explain so that we can hear why the ballots, those 7 ballots, were invalid. If you want your ballot to count, you need to make sure that you complete it correctly. If you will share, Madam Head Teller.
Bishop and members of the conference, we have 3 blank ballot. And the 4th ballot, we cannot read. It is a Chinese. Unreadable. And the 5th ballot, we have Jonathan Mendilio. Pinagdugtong nila. And the other one is Anagay. We have two Anagay here, Mary Chris and Roland. And the other one is Rubinel Estrada.
Okay, thank you. So if we can prepare ourselves, we're going to immediately go into another vote. I need the house to be quiet. Okay, let's let the house be prepared to hear from our head teller. You need to be in your seats if you want to vote.
Mga kapatid, mag-housekeeping muna tayo bago tayo magbotohan ulit. Once the presider already declared that we are taking a ballot, no one is allowed to stand or go out and get in. May we ask the marshals to immediately close the back doors and all entrances exits to the plenary floor will be closed. Marshals shall no longer accept delegates to go back to their seats once the count has already been taken by the tellers. When the ballot is closed, that's the time when latecomers can go back to their seats. Thank you so much. Yung mga apelyedo, mga kapatid, kailangan tignan ninyo na may balatan na balatan Aristedes ang inilalagay nila, balatan Anagay, and then Jonathan Mendilio, mga ganon. Yung isang ballot na invalid na talaga yon. So, thank you so much, mga kapatid. Yeah. Yung Anagay, meron kasi tayong dalawang Anagay, mag-asawa kasi ito. Si Mary Chris at saka si Roland. So kapag Anagay lang ang ilagay, hindi pwede yon. So, ganun din yung balatan. Dalawa din yan. Balatan, pwede rin yung asawa niya, they are both elder. So, kailangan kompletohin yung pangalan nila. Salamat po.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I see a yellow card. You can make your way to microphone number 3.
Yes. Menry Mendilio from Philippines Annual Conference. I hope that I was able to raise the right color and card. I would like to make an inquiry, Madam Chair. If, for example, that one of the Anagays will make a declaration that he or she is not available for election, would it be possible that when they put the name Anagay, that will be counted to the other Anagay? Because we have two Anagays, Madam Chair. Now, if one Anagay will stand here and say, I am not participating in the election process, how will you treat it? Are you going to say that since it was a declaration, then one anagay, even if they will not put the first name, that will be counted? May I know, Madam Bishop, how will you address and treat this situation if that is the case? Thank you.
Okay, so I want to make sure I'm hearing what your question or inquiry is, that if there is more than one anagway, and if one is not making themselves available to be elected, then I'm hearing your question to be, how are you then distinguishing between which one? Because what I understand from the ballot, it just had anagway, that it didn't have a first name. That's what the problem was with the invalid ballot. It only said anagway. It had no first name, period.
Yes, Bishop. I would like to somehow put some, a little understanding of what I'm trying to put across. We have two anagays. One is Roland, one is Mary Chris. Mary Chris would come up here and make a declaration saying, I am not available for election. Now, the scenario is that if that will be accepted then, that she is no longer available for election, then the remaining anagay, even if they will no longer place there or write the name Roland Anagay, or just the surname Anagay, will be counted. Would that be a reasonable way on how we accept?
I'm hearing your question, and for persons to remember who is saying that they're not offering themselves and who is saying that they are running, if you're writing a name according to your rules, that if there's more than, your rules say, if there is more than the same person who has the same last name, you need to put the first name.
But it's withdrawing.
Okay, but here's the thing. I'm at my discretion.
Yes, go ahead.
What I'm saying to the body is, if there's someone with more than one name, and we know that there is, put the first name so that the ballot is not invalid. That where there's no question. So the body knows now, put a first name with the last name. Okay? So
Even if, Madam Chair, excuse me, if I may, even if that another one will express himself or herself that he or she will not be participating in the electoral process that we are doing right now,
you still have to validate who is the one whose the name is. So you need a first name.
Oh, so meaning to say, for the clarification, everyone,
Sir,
whether
I'm
there
sorry,
would
I
be...
answered your question. I answered the question. At
Yeah.
my discretion, what I'm saying to the body, put the first name.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so here's what I'm going to ask. As we prepare for the next ballot, if everyone can be in their seats so that we can proceed. I see a card. Microphone number 8, please.
I come from Tarlac, Philippines Annual Conference.
If the House can be quiet so we can hear the speaker.
Reverend Celestino Cancio. I believe that I raised a right color because I just want to make an appeal to each and every one of us who are now about to cast our votes. I know that we were sent by our respective annual conferences to be a part of this holy conferencing. Let us make this conference a genuine holy conference. May I appeal that all of us knows how to write, knows the proper spelling of those candidates that we wish to be voted upon. My beloved brethren, brothers and sisters, let us make this election, let us make this election proper as we behave properly. And alam naman po natin lahat yung mga pangalan ng mga binoboto natin. Ang nakakahiya dito, bakit meron tayong mga void na votes? We did it last casting of votes. We have just proven that we can make it more than proper than what we did last balloting. Mga kapatid, liliwanagin na lamang po natin mabuti. What are we trying to project when we cast our votes? Pakiusap lang po, mga mahal na kapatid. Let us maintain the discipline. Let us maintain the order. Let us be fair that when we come to this conference, we represent our respective annual conference. Makikiusap lang po ako, mga kapatid. We are all professionals here. Do not act unbecomingly according to what is expected for this holy conferencing. Thank you so much, and God bless us all.
Amen. Okay. There's, again, you can respond in your heart or in your mind if you want to applaud, but we don't want to applaud when we don't applaud for others. Thank you so much for your words of appeal to the body. So, friends, we're going to prepare now for the next ballot. I'm going to ask that the heads of the delegations of both the clergy and the lay, that you prepare yourselves so that you can be prepared to take the vote count of the delegates who are seated for voting. If you can take your places, heads of delegations. If you can take your places, and tellers, if you can be prepared to take yours as well. Okay, all of the heads of delegations are in their places, and they are now counting the number of delegates who are seated. Let us remember the housekeeping rules from our head teller. Heads of delegations, if you will report your numbers to your designated teller. And once you have those numbers, tellers, if you will report those numbers in. Would you be prepared to pray next? Yeah. So once I have them to stand before their vote, I ask you to pray next. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wonder how they do it. You did it based on this number. First of all, so female to do it all. Once all the tellers receive their ballots, they will hold them. And then we will have a prayer by Bishop Francisco. And then we will commence to vote. For clergy, 246. Seated voting delegates for laity, 244. Total voting delegates for this ballot is 490. So that is the count of those of you who are seated voting delegates. The total count is 490. The tellers are receiving their ballots. And in just a few moments, they will go to their respective places. And the heads of the delegation will receive the ballots from the tellers to give them to the delegates. We're going to have prayer before we hand off the ballots. So tellers, if you can go to your places but still hold your ballots. Once everyone is in place, Bishop Francisco will offer a prayer. Let us all stand for the prayer.
Mga kapatid, tayo manalangin. Dakila, makapangyarihan at Diyos na mapagbiyaya. Kinikilala namin na ang pagpili sa mangunguna sa iyong iglesia ay isang banal na gawain. Kaya nga hinihiling namin ang iyong pangunguna sa amin. Patawarin mo kami kung kami nagkukulang, nakakagawa ng hindi ayon sa iyong kalooban, na siyang humahadlang sa aming pagnanasa na makapaghalal ng mangunguna sa iyong iglesia. Hinihiling namin, O Diyos, nagabayan mo kami upang sa pagsulat at pagpili na maglilingkod sa iyong iglesia ay marinig namin ang iyong tinig na gumagabay sa amin. Pangunahan mo ang bawat delegado upang ang sagradong gawaing ito ay magkaroon ng katuparan at makapagbigay ng kaluwalhatian sa iyong pangalan. Ito po ang aming panikluhod at panimdiman sa pangalan ng aming Panginoong Jesus. Amen. Amen.
Amen. The tellers will now give the ballots to the heads of the delegation. The heads of the delegation will distribute them to the delegates. You may be seated once you receive your ballot to complete it. And once you complete your ballot, please make sure you give it to the respective teller. And delegates, you have a responsibility to make sure that your ballot is returned to the teller. And tellers, please make sure you count the number of ballots you receive and that they correspond with the number of ballots that you distributed. delegates, make sure you return your ballot to the designated teller. So all ballots are received.
Po natin.
Okay, if I can have all of our attention, please. All of the tellers have returned the ballots to the appropriate ballot boxes. All votes have been received. I declare that the ballot is closed. Now I invite the Committee on Tellers to begin your due diligence, your faithful work of canvassing the ballots. And I turn this plenary back over to our presiding officer.
Okay, thank you so much, Bishop Malone. Now, may we call on Judge Larida. Thank you so much for your patience and at this point, Brother Richard moves something, an amendment to the members of the Board of Trustees. Again, can you repeat that? So,
Hello, ayun. Good afternoon, Bishop. The motion is we amend the Article 3 proposal of Siporo to read as follows. Sa kanyang last sentence, 1/3 of the trustees shall be women and there shall be a lawyer and at least 2 lay young people ages 18 to 40 years old in the board. Thank you, Bishop.
okay. So, yun po yung amendment. May second na to kanina, no? Right, okay. So, are there any conversations about it? Ang sinasabi niya lang, dagdagdag. Isa lang yung sinasabi na doon sa amendment natin at doon sa original na provision. No? Pero ito ay magdadagdag daw ng isa pa, so dalawa. At may specific age. Okay? Are you willing to accept that? Are you ready to vote in this amendment? Yes. Krisa? Yeah, he's the youth member of the Board of Trustees. That's a motion for.
Yes, Bishop. Criza M. Castro from the Mindanao Philippines Annual Conference, a young people. Church, everyone deserves a place at the table, no matter what their age, background, or status. By adding 2 young people to the Board of Trustees, we ensure that the voice of the next generations are heard, empowering them to help guide our church as we set its direction, make improvements, and prepare for the future. Including youth in decision-making is essential for a church committed to justice, dignity, and solidarity. Let us be intentional in building an inclusive church where all generations are valued and heard. What we do now shapes the future, and by empowering young voices today, we are shaping a stronger tomorrow for our church. Thank you.
Okay, that's a speech for the motion. Any other? Meron bang speech? Yes? Is that, sige, point of order? To Mike 6.
Thank you, Bishop. Members of the conference, Melvin Domingo from Southwest PAC. I wish to be clarified because the chairperson later, a while ago, said that the composition of the Board of Trustees is as 3 classes, right? Five for better transition. Now, I wish to be clarified if, for example, the women representation is assigned to each class, or are they randomly selected for that whole Board of Trustees? Because if we wish to, for example, for the women to be better represented at any composition of the Board of Trustees, then they may have a particular seat in each class, because chances are the 3 women, although at least 3 women and at least 2 young people, for example, there might be at class in that particular Board of Trustees which does not have a woman representation or a young people, for example. Or a better option might be we might expressly provide that for each class, for example, there is a woman representation, so that at any rate, when the board is composed, there is really a woman representation, or so on and so forth. Thank you, Bishop.
Brother Richard, would you like to speak to that?
No. I think, Bishop, with the way how it was presented here, the text, the arrangement of the text is that at any point in time, the Board of Trustees should have 1/3 women, a lawyer, and in my proposal, at least 2 lay young people. So, the burden will be upon the Board of Trustees, to our Committee on Nominations, to ensure that this will be the case. So I think while the inquiry of our good friend is valid, I think it is not that necessarily and explicitly framed in this text, Bishop.
Okay. Any other speech against the amendment? Meron po? What's that? Yeah. Pastor Menre?
Thank you.
What's that?
Brother Bishop. Pastor Mary
Yes.
from PAC.
Is it a point of order or?
Yeah, not
Yes.
point of order, but
What's-
point of inquiry, because it's yellow.
Okay.
Am I correct? Yellow. Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Bishop. Now, I would like to invite you to review our Rules of Order, page 52, Rule 36, amending Plan of Organization and Rules of Order. Because my inquiry, Bishop, I think our...
Can you repeat the article?
Article 36.
36, oh.
Page 52 of our handbook, amending Plan of Organization and Rules of Order. He asked just a while ago if it is possible to make an amendment on the floor. And I made some contemplation on the basis of that inquiry. However, you are given the time to speak and to express your manifestation. I would like to inquire, Madam Chair, because amendment, there are two ways of amending. One, you have a proviso here that the proposed amendment has been previously referred to the Committee of Plan of Organization and Rules of Order, or has originated in the said committee in accordance with Section 1E. Therefore, there are two means on how to amend it. One, you have to make a petition to the SIPORO. Number two, or it should originate from the SIPORO itself. So I think that the proper way, since we have still time, to suffice what is in the Rules of Order is that all those amendments can be in a petition form addressed and referred to the SIPORO, and let the SIPORO massage entirely what should be the complete amendments that will be presented to us, because that is in response to the Rules of Order of the Philippine Central Conference. So probably if you'll ask if that is all right in the...
Please address the chair, Mr. Menre.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Okay.
So,
sir, point of order is it should come from the SIPORO.
Yes, they will make a petition. They will make a petition to the SIPORO, and then the SIPORO will return back to complete the entire amendments, including those amendments that are being proposed here by our gentlemen here.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, can we refer this amendment to the SIPORO for consideration?
We can do that,
Yeah.
Presiding Bishop Australia. We can do that po. Siguro later na lang po, after na lang po.
All right.
But before us is ito pong ano. I think I agree with Bishop Reverend Menre.
Okay.
Ganun
Sorry,
po yung proseso
Richard.
po.
Yeah.
Later on po siguro we will consider that. Pero as is po ito yung ano amendment.
But we
Proposed
heard
amendment.
your clamor and your advocacy, so we will make sure that it would somehow be considered, no? If not
Rest
this
assured.
time. Yeah. All right, because we have already entertained this, the proper way is for this body to agree to refer this amendment or petition to the SIPORO. Okay, can you do that? So that, yes, so that it will be properly considered. So that's the proper way. Are you ready to vote? Okay. Those who would refer this amendment or petition back to SIPORO for consideration, please raise your hand. Those who oppose, same sign. Okay, it's referred. Okay, thank you so much. All right, so let's go back to the report. Nasa na po ba tayo?
Yes, Bishop. We're back
BOT.
to the previous question po to the Siporo is presenting the proposed amendment as is po.
Okay.
If they are ready to vote by 2/3 pursuant to our rules of order.
Okay, so yung first na major amendment is dun sa composition at terms of office ng BOT. Okay, meron pa po bang question about that? Wala na? Yung amendment number 3, para mas maliwanag po. Yung secretary and deputy secretaries.
Bishop, if I may, ito lang muna po, then later on po.
Yung BOT muna.
BOT muna po, yung 2/3. And then mamaya po yung next
Yung
amendment
secretary.
naman po.
Okay. Yellow card, nasan po? Meron po ba? Okay. Please. Yes. Brother Darinel.
Magandang gabi po, si Darinel Mata po from Bulpak. Ang tanong ko lang po ganito, hindi po kaya sayang yung oras kung sakaling i-deliberate natin ito, pagbobotohan natin, pagkatapos may additional proposal pa ang young people dun sa membership ng BOT? Maduduplicate po kasi. Pwedeng
Judge.
consider po na.
Okay.
It will be considered the presiding bishop, but later on po, but what is before, I think what is before the conference now is the proposed amendments of coming from the Siporo as is. But we are willing to, later on po, siguro, later on mga sessions.
I think there is a way to it, no? Pwede nating i-massage ng konti. Kasi pagka nag-nominate, pwedeng we make sure that there is always a young people. Kasi meron dito pong nomination from the bishops, right?
Opo.
Oo. Kaya pwedeng ganon. Just to make sure that there are 2 young people that will be represented. Now, yung sinasabi nila, kung para ilagay yan dito talaga sa kanilang amendment, siguro sa some later date. Or siguro susunod, no? Pero pwede na nating i-consider na yung petition or yung request ng mga kabataan ay magawa na natin ng paraan in terms of nominations, no?
Yes po, Bishop.
Yeah, I think so.
Minimum lang naman po yun. Minimum.
Yes.
Minimum yung youth.
Pwede
naman po
Pwede
more
namang dalawa. Talaga. Okay. Okay, are you ready to vote? Yes.
Darinel Mata po ulit from Bulpak. Ang worry po kasi ganito, what if hindi po ma-consider ng Siporo yung proposal po ng young people? Hindi po ba babalik din po sa PCC yung issue na i-consider yun or hindi? Parang sigurado ang young people magsasalita po dito na nag-proposal kami, ba't di na-consider? For sure, di po ba? Parang paano kung di na-consider, ibababa din dito sa sa conference?
Pagka in-approve na po natin itong amendment ay, yes, it would be approved. Hindi, ang sinasabi po natin dito, pwede tayong mag-nominate talaga. We can make sure that there are 2 young people serving in the Board of Trustees. Kasi may nominations po yan from the Episcopal areas. Kaya doon natin pwedeng insert. Sinasabi lang ng Board of Trustees, pwedeng baguhin uli ito para maisama talaga yung provision na yon sa susunod na petition nila. Okay?
Clarify ko lang po yung tanong ko. Kasi ang tanong ko, what if hindi po na-consider? Kasi ang sinasabi niyo po ay assurance. Pero what if hindi nga po nangyari yon? Babalik po ba sa Central Conference yung yung amendment na yon?
Sinasabi mo ngayon?
Parang ibabalik po ba ang tanong? Kasi sasabihin po ng young people nag-propose kami pero hindi tinanggap, ibababa, parang sasabihin namin ngayon dito sa body para dito natin pag-usapan. Parang gano'n po ang tanong ko, what if hindi ma-consider? Kasi marami po pwedeng mangyari. Lang po, parang wild, imagination.
Okay. Pastor Mende.
Card.
That should be, what's that? A speech for the motion or there's nothing before us? Ano ba?
Which
Ano
one?
gusto mong gawin?
Madam Chair, I'll be blunt a little bit because the color of the card should be, we should add more of that because when you talk of the parliamentary procedure and the parliamentary law, there are other motions.
Okay,
that
what's your point, Pastor
My point
Menre?
is
Go straight to the
probably
point.
a matter of privilege. I think the color is correct, right?
The
Matter of privilege.
all matters of privilege should go to the courtesies and privileges.
Okay, so it's just a matter of concern.
Okay. Let's hear
Yeah,
it.
I just
wait,
want-
wait, wait.
Yes, please.
There's a point of order. What's your point of order? Who's that? The yellow card. Is that a point of order, Pastor Tangunan? Is that a point of order? Or point of clarification?
The clarification, Bishop.
Yes.
Pastor Elpidio Ramos Tangunan Jr., clergy delegates from Northwest Mindanao Philippines Annual Conference. Ito po yung ako po magre-react po sa sinabi po ninyo, mahal na obispo, na ang mga obispo ay magno-nominate para sa composition ng annual conference. Am I right? Yung akin narinig?
Meron
Kung
pong
ganun
ino-nominate.
po ang mangyayari, ay at the mercy of the bishops, yung pag-i-insert sa dalawang representative na Board of Trustees. It should be done in our session today so that it should be put on paper.
Yes, we can do that.
Ay, okay.
Yes, we can do that.
Salamat po, Bishop.
Pwede po, kasi tayo din na mag-elect noon. We can do that. And we can make sure that there are 2 young people who will be elected to the Board of Trustees. Okay, is that clear? Tama po, Judge, ba? Kasi ino-nominate yan and then we will elect it. So alam kaagad natin kung natupad ba yung clamor ng kabataan. Okay?
Operational po, Bishop naman yung nasa,
Yes.
yung sabi nyo nga, it can be massaged at the nomination level.
Yes.
Kasi youth lang po, minimum yun sa ano ko po, minimum lang naman po yun. Pero to amend at this time na hindi dumadaan po sa Siporo, pursuant to the rules of, yun po medyo hindi natin natin gawin siguro ngayon.
Okay.
But we assure you po, for as long as I'm still the chair of the Siporo, we will give this utmost priority po.
There's another point of order, Dr. Domingo. Microphone 6.
Thank you, Bishop.
Point of clarification. What is that?
May I be clarified po dun sa status ng amendment? Are we accepting the amendment po from...
We have referred that back to the Siporo.
Yes po, and the proponent is asking us to vote on the matter at hand.
Yes. What we are saying now, ito po yung parliamentary situation natin, no? Yung petition, o yung sinasabi, petition ng mga kabataan, binalik natin sa Siporo. Okay? So, but right at this time, hindi po yan ma-i-include doon sa proposed amendment nila. But what we are promising you, in the process of nomination, we can already do that just to make sure that there would be at least 2 young people doon sa mga ages na sinabi. So, ang pakiusap po na si Poro ay we approve the amendment so that we can proceed. Yan po.
Yes po, thank you,
Everyone
Bishop.
po.
We understand po the goodwill of the chair and the bishop, but we as the young people, we are afraid that ang scenario po kasi, we rely on our mental recall on what we have passed during this session, so on and so forth. But it is more proper, I think, that what we demand from the youth should be expressly provided in the policy so that whoever takes the role of the chair of the Siporo, whoever presides, what is written in the policy should be implemented.
Okay.
Because members of the Central Conference may be
Yes.
different in the future.
Yes. Ang problema natin, mga kapatid, na mga kabataan, hindi natin pinetition. Sana gumawa na tayo ng petition before the Central Conference so that it is properly considered by the Siporo. Okay po ba yon? Kaya ang pinakikiusap namin sa inyo, will make sure that there would be two young people that will be included in the members of the Board of Trustees. Isang quadrennium lang po yan. Okay, isang quadrennium lang. So, nasa sa inyo po mga kabataan to petition the Siporo to make this amendment in our rules. Maliwanag po ba yon? Tama pa? Okay, Bishop Nakpil wants to speak on the report of the Siporo. Would you allow Bishop Nakpil to speak?
Well, I want to thank you for your permission to let me say something. What I have to say is connected with Section 1, Articles 8, Other Officers of the Philippines Central Conference. I have three things to say. One is a comment, a question, I should say. The second is a comment. And the third is a suggestion only. The question is this, and it's directed to the Pranab Organization Committee. Is the presiding officer of the conference in session an officer of the Central Conference only when he or she is presiding? And if he or she is not presiding, she is not an officer anymore? My understanding, based on previous plans of organization, is that the entire College of Bishops is the presidium of the Central Conference. And any one of them, especially the active bishops, of course, may preside. So that it is the presidium, the College of Bishops is the presidium of the Central Conference. And that means if a bishop is presiding, he does not stop as being an officer when he does not preside anymore. You see, the oversight of the bishops is collegial. In the agencies of the Central Conference, there is usually assigned a bishop as an ex officio officer. Now, I am asking you, dear friends, whether the bishops, the presidium, may be included as an ex officio members of the Central Conference, so that they may then have a right to speak, but no right to vote. What has happened is that we have drawn an absolute line between the legislative conference, which is the central conference, and the executive, which are the bishops. And the bishops have nothing to say at all with the kind of legislation that you are asking them to implement. Whether it is doable or not. All I'm only suggesting that maybe in our organization, you may want to include the presidium as ex officio members. What I've done just now is to ask your permission for me to speak. Without your permission, I cannot speak. I cannot even get into the bar of the conference. That is not permitted for us. Oh, we are in heaven, and I don't know where you are.
Thank you, Bishop Nakpil. Okay. So are you ready to vote for this proposed amendment on BOT? Meron pa po bang questions? Are you ready to vote? Meron pa doon. Yes. Microphone 8. Can you state, is that a point of order or clarification?
Hello, yeah.
Okay.
Point of clarification, Bishop. I'm Randy J. Austria from Philippines Annual Conference, Cavite. I just needed to be clarified, especially when it comes to this approval of a proposed amendments. It is also connected with the Rule 36 of our handbook about amending plan of organization and rules of order. So as I read it, it seemed that if you want to do something about our rules, if you want to change it, you must go through the SIPORO, and that's the process, right? However, what we have right now is the amendment. It's not the rules as of now, it's the amendment that the SIPORO is offering for the plenary to decide whether we will accept it or not. So since it is offered, I believe that the plenary can ask question, can or even amend what they are proposing to the plenary. That's my understanding, if I'm correct, Bishop. So if that's the case, we can amend what was proposed.
No.
Or whatever was presented, we must accept it.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright. Yun po yung sinabi na natin kanina, yung rule number 36. So ito pong proposal ng SIPORO ay changes doon sa ating discipline on the membership of the Board of Trustees. Okay?
Okay.
Maliwanag po yon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Bishop, because I have suggestions sana at the latter part, but since we cannot suggest anymore in the plenary, we can just go through them.
Ang proper way nga po is to petition. To make a petition, kung meron kayong mga gustong amendment, and that would be submitted before the Central Conference for consideration by the SIPORO.
Yeah.
Ganon.
Last na lang po, Bishop.
Opo.
Ang question kasi po, Bishop, it was just given to us. Then we read it. Then I think I have suggestion on some provision. Pero dahil ito ay ngayon lang pag-uusapan, so we don't have the chance to for amendments of this.
Okay, binigay na po sa atin yan. Kailan ba yung kahapon? Yes, kahapon. Kaya po hindi natin inaksyonan para pag-aralan nyo sana. Okay? Anyway,
Thank you, Bishop.
4 years lang yan. Sige po. May follow-up si Bishop Nakpil. Yes, Bishop Nakpil? Okay, you would.
Another voice from heaven.
My last statement is only a suggestion. I cannot make a motion. So it depends on Siporo to take into account my suggestion. And if anyone among you would like to make a motion along the lines that I have proposed, that is your privilege, and I am very grateful if you do that. Secondly, the amendment that is being proposed here has to do with the ex officio bishop member of the Board of Trustees. But there is nothing said about the Presidium as an ex officio member in the Central Conference.
Okay, thank you, Bishop Nakpil. Okay, there's a Bishop Malone will announce a result of the balloting.
I am prepared to share the results of ballot number 3. The number of ballots cast, 490. Number of invalid ballots, 2. Number of valid ballots, 488. Number of votes to elect, 325. There is no election. Rodale Agdol, 296. Ruby Nell Estrella, 282. Israel Payanet, 218. Jonathan Yulande, 197. Aristides Balaton, 154. Minray Mendillo, 104. Roland Anagwe, 71. Francis Ajardo, 45. Jonathan Raison, 20. Antonio Pacheco, 34. The rest of the names that are listed here receive less than 10 votes. So here is where we are. We are at the 6:23 hour. As soon as we return back after dinner, we will commence to do another ballot. I'm going to turn back to our presider to give any further instructions at this time.
Okay, friends, shall we dispose?
I'm sorry. I neglected to call on the head teller to explain to the body the 2 invalid ballots. Sorry, it's my fault.
Bishop and members of the conference, we have 2 invalid ballot. From the lay, it looks like parang hindi siya makapagsulat. Ewan ko kung may arthritis or what. Yeah, kasi hindi talaga maintindihan. Ikalawang beses na to. And then we have here balatan. Again, sinabi natin kanina, sinabi ni Obispo na kailangan maglagay ng pangalan. Dalawa kasi sila. So, isa ito. Thank you so much.
Okay, sige po. Meron pa po tayong moment of celebration awarding awarding po ng NBQ. Pero before we do that, can we just dispose this, the Sipora report, yung pong tungkol sa Board of Trustees, amendment? Can we do that? Are you ready to vote? Kanina pa tayo nagpapaliwanagan. Okay, are you ready to vote? Those who would approve this amendment, please raise your hand. We need two-thirds vote. So we need who's counting? The tellers or the pages? Yeah, we need two-thirds to pass this amendment. Okay? Yan na kayo? Two-thirds to. Okay, those who would approve this amendment, please raise your hand. Huwag niyo muna pong ibababa hanggat di kayo nabilang. Okay. Tapos na po. Those who oppose, please raise your hand. Wala. Wala po. Unanimous pala. Okay. May we know the result, please? Kung obis po yung binotohan nyo, panalo na. Okay, Secretariat, what's the result of the votes? Pareho rin yung two-thirds. Okay. Okay, 327 voted for the adoption of the amendment. So we got two-thirds. Ay, ano ba?
The two-thirds is 326.
326.
The votes,
so
we got 348.
348. Okay, it passes. Okay.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you so much, Judge.
If we may po yung proposed amendment number 3 later on
Yes.
po after dinner.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
po.
you, thank you, Judge, for your patience. Okay, we'll have a moment of celebration. Okay, order of the day. Yes, what's the point of, is that a point of order? Clarification?
Point of no return. I'm just kidding. Because I heard Bishop Nakpil so clearly, with so much passion about his concern. Now, he made a suggestion simply because he cannot make a motion. Because he is not a member of the conference. My question, Madam Chair, who will now pick out as a matter of concern the suggestion of our beloved Bishop?
Who will?
Who will? Who will do it?
Do it. Okay.
On behalf of Bishop Nakpil.
The Siporo. Yeah. Yes.
So, ganito na lang. Madam Chair, I would like to make the Chair to make a ruling on the basis of the suggestion of Bishop Nakpil. Thank you. It's not a rule of law. Parliamentary ruling to whether or not we submit such suggestion to the Siporo so that the body will no longer make a decision, but it is the rule of the chair on a parliamentary situation on the very request of our beloved bishop.
Give us a moment. Okay. What Bishop Nakpil said is just a suggestion. So it's up for the body, this conference, to do something about it. Okay? If you choose to, if you decide to do something about it. Okay? I see green, Dr. Melia. Is that a motion?
Bishop Connie Semimelia, clergy, female, middle adult, from the Mindanao, Philippines Annual Conference. I move that the suggestion of Bishop Nakpil be referred to the Siporo for consideration, since it is only the Siporo that can make amendments to the rules of order.
Is there a second? Okay, it's before you. Is there any referral? Yeah. Okay, are you ready to vote? Okay, those who would refer this matter, the suggestion of Bishop Nakpil to Siporo, please raise your hand. Those who oppose, same sign. Okay, it's referred. Thank you so much. So we are supposed to recess for dinner, but the BCED is requesting for your indulgence so we can award the
winners for the 12th National Bible Quiz.
for the 12th National Bible Quiz. Can we, how long? 10 minutes? 10 minutes? Yeah? 10 minutes, okay. Can we do that? Okay, go ahead.
We are sorry for keeping you for 10 minutes because our winners are here and they are not part of the Central Conference. Welcome to another celebration, and this time we celebrate the 25th year of the National Bible Quiz at this very same place. The 12th Grand Finals of the National Bible Quiz was held July 20, 2024 at Central UMC, Manila. And the committee decided to hold the awarding ceremony during this 22nd regular Central Conference. Our grand finals winners are here together with their parents and coaches. They are here wearing Filipiniana. That's why we are also wearing Filipiniana. So we are requesting once again our BCED officers to join us on stage for the awarding ceremony together with the 12th National Bible Quiz Committee. Our chairperson, Judge Benjamin Torgano, Secretary Deaconess Phoebe Crismo, Treasurer Mr. Ned Canlas, members Dr. Ruth Arechea, Mr. Raul Cacho, Ms. Liz Mariano, Reverend Nonelio Talisic, and Dr. Priscilla Villuya. We will also request some of our bishops to join us in awarding the winners. For the third place, junior level, we will request Ate Liz Mariano. to award the third place junior level for John Ralph B. Calma from Tarlac, Philippines Annual Conference, Committee of Faith, UMC, San Juan, Concepcion, Tarlac. His coach is Deaconess Abigail Dongcara. The trophy is with the cold cash of 30,000 pesos. Already given last July. For the second place, junior level, we will request Reverend Nonelio Talisic, BCED Chairperson, to award from Central Luzon, Philippines Annual Conference, Pada-Pada, Santa Ignacia, Tarlac, Leiza Miel M. Valdos. Yes, with the coach, with parents, if you are here, just please make it faster. Coach is Deaconess Marian Faith Ermube. We will request our treasurer, BCED treasurer, Mr. Ned Canlas, to award the first place for the junior level from Bulacan, Philippines Annual Conference, Plaridel Central UMC, Plaridel, Bulacan. Her coach is Deaconess Sheila Reyes, Kirsten Rain F. Javier, together with her coach and parents and pastor. The second place winner got 40,000 pesos, and the first place got 50,000 pesos. For the senior level, third place, we will request Bishop Rudy Juan, the immediate past BCED Bishop in charge, to join us in awarding our winners. For the third place, it's also from Bulacan, Philippines Annual Conference, Angat UMC, Angat, Bulacan. The daughter of Reverend Sani and Nia San Pedro, and her coach is Deaconess Nina Nicole de Dios, Angel Shania G. San Pedro. For the senior level, second place, we will request Bishop Rubinel Estrella, immediate past treasurer of BCED, to please join us. From Quezon City, Philippines Annual Conference East, Quezon City. From Deparo, UMC, her parents, Ruel and Carmelita and coach, Deaconess Urchin, Deaconess Franis, Patrick and Kat. Maria Ruela Charmel B. Daes. And to award the first place, we will request Bishop Rodel Akdal to give the plaque. Bishop in charge of BCED. From Tarlac, Philippines Annual Conference, Tarlac UMC, Tarlac City. Lorraine M. Carion, senior level first place. Congratulations. Her local church is Balibago UMC. Sorry.
Friends, I would like to give a little context to what we are doing. This 25th Year of National Bible Quiz is started really, no? The idea of the National Bible Quiz is started in this place. And the very first Bible quiz was held here in 1999 in this very place as part of the centennial celebrations of Methodism in the Philippines. And the idea came from the late Bishop Daniel Ecija Jr., who was then the resident bishop of the Baguio Episcopal area and was also elected chairperson of the Philippine Bible Society. It was therefore very natural for him to think of a national Bible quiz that would involve both the United Methodist Church and the Philippine Bible Society, where he was also working as a translation consultant. And so, the National Bible Quiz was born, held, and it was held every 2 years since then. The venue has been transferred to Manila, to Philippine Christian University, to Folk Arts Theater, the Cultural Center of the Philippines, and the PBS Auditorium until the committee decided to make Central United Methodist Church Manila its permanent home. And that until the COVID-19 pandemic struck, where millions have been afflicted, and about 19,000 Filipinos have died, including our beloved father of the National Bible Quiz, the Bible doctor himself, Bishop Daniel Ecija Jr. And so as we do the awarding this time, as we have done the awarding this time, we remember him and his love for the Word with great thanksgiving to God. We thank you for celebrating with us today as we celebrate the winners. We celebrate as well God's Word for us today. Thank you very much. We are sorry that our chair is not here. I saw him sitting down there a while ago, Judge Benjamin Turgano, who insisted that we should raise the prices from the meager amount of, I will not tell you what, to 50,000, 40,000, and 30,000 pesos respectively for first, second, and third, because, he said, if the Bible is so important to us, why can't we give a high premium to the young who excel in it? We must raise the price. So thank you, Judge Turgano, wherever you are.
Okay.
And thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
Bishop.
much.
Thank you,
Yes.
my friends.
All right, friends, it's 6:45, so we need to have 1 hour break for our dinner. So shall we all stand? And may I request Deaconess Remy Pablo to lead us in prayer for our dinner. And we will be back at 7:45.
Nagpupuri at nagpapasalamat sa iyo, O dakilang Diyos, ang aming mga puso sa lahat po ng naganap sa maghapong ito. Nagpupuri at nagpapasalamat din po kami na muli ay tatanggapin namin ang biyayang magbibigay ng lakas at kalusugan namin. Pagpalain mo po ang mga kamay na naghanda ng pagkain namin at ang mga pagkaing tatanggapin namin. Ito po ang aming dalangin sa tanging pangalan ni Jesus. Amen.
Okay, we will be back at 7:45. Thank you. Thank you so much for your patience.